Adaeze was the kind of girl who cooked jollof with steady hand, greeted elders with a small bow, and still ran barefoot to chase the evening sun when the sky turned the color of ripe mango. She lived in Umuagu, a small village near Nsukka, where palm trees swayed like quiet dancers and gossip moved faster than the Okada that carried traders to the market. People said Ada was beautiful in a calm way, the kind that made you breathe deeper without knowing why. But what made her special was her mind. She liked ideas. She liked to ask why. She liked to fix little problems before they grew teeth and became big trouble. She and her mother, Mama Nkem, sold gari and dried fish in the market. Her father had passed when she was young, so life taught her how to stand strong even when wind pushed hard. Every morning she swept their compound until the red earth shone. Then she read old newspapers that wrapped fish the day before, learning new words and big city stories while the cocks crowed like they were trying to lead choir practice. One hot Saturday, a convoy of black SUVs rolled into Umuagu like thunder, with tinted windows and a horn that made goats jump. Children shouted, "People from the big city!" The cars stopped at the village square, and men in stiff agbada stepped out with shiny shoes that never touched dust. Then a young man in a white kaftan and soft cap, Prince Tunde of Owu Kingdom in Ogun State, came down with a smile that looked trained, like it had practiced in front of a mirror. He was handsome, yes, and rich, very rich, the kind of rich that made elders adjust their wrappers and invite kola nuts. The prince said he came for charity, to renovate the primary school and drill a borehole. People clapped, drums sounded, praise singers sang till the air tasted like praise. Ada didn't run to the square. She watched from a distance with palm oil on her fingers as she helped a customer tie fish. She didn't hate princes, she only didn't like noise. She liked quiet truth. When the prince finally noticed her, it was not because of her beauty at first, but because she did not push forward like others. He asked the elders, "Who is that girl?" They told him, "That is Adaeze, the one who reads newspaper like she's a teacher, the one who walks straight and doesn't beg." Later, the prince visited the market with cameramen. He bought cassava flour from Ada's mother and gave her a thick envelope. Mama Nkem almost cried with gratitude. The prince looked at Ada and said in a voice that slid like butter, "What is your name, beautiful one?" She wiped her hand on her wrapper and said, "Adaeze, please, your royal highness. Welcome." He smiled again, too white, too bright, and said, "Call me Tunde. I am simple." He asked her some questions that sounded simple but carried weight, like, "Do you like this village?" "Yes," Ada said. "It is my father's land, but I also want to see Lagos one day." The prince nodded as if counting her words. Before he left, he whispered to one of his aides, who whispered to another, and soon people in the market began to murmur like boiling soup. By evening, the prince sent new school uniforms, rice, beans, and cooking oil to Ada's compound with a sweet letter on gold paper that said, "I would like to know you more." That night, the moon sat fat in the sky, and the women sang by the borehole, but Ada's heart was not singing. She was thinking of Chike. Chike was the boy with careful hands. He was a generator repairer, phone fixer, radio whisperer, and quiet dreamer. He had come to Umuagu years ago to help his uncle at the spare parts shop. And then the uncle traveled out and left him with debts and rusted tools. Chike paid back every debt with sweat and late nights, and somehow he still found time to repair the church speaker for free and to fix Mama Nkem's old grinding machine that everyone thought was dead. He and Ada became friends slowly, like rain that soaks the ground without thunder. They talked while she waited for Gary to fry, while he tested spark plugs, while goats chewed cassava leaves like it was secret stew. He never pretended to be more than he was. He didn't bring cameras, he brought honesty. The next week, Lagos bloggers posted the prince's photos in Umuagu, the borehole, the smiling children, the prince lifting a bag of cement like it weighed nothing. The prince looking at Ada by the market. Comments flew like mosquitoes. Fairy tale, village love, this is goals. Ada, marry him. Strangers who never knew Ada called her lucky. Some said, if she says no, I will say yes for her. The prince returned after 2 weeks with boxes of clothes and a clean promise like a new Naira note. He told the elders in the square, I want to take Adaeze to Lagos to see the palace. I will sponsor her training. I will make her a queen if she accepts. The crowd screamed. Drums beat like thunder. Praise singers nearly fainted. To choose a poor girl from a small village was the kind of story the internet loved. But Ada's hands were cold. She went home, sat under the orange tree with Chike and cried quietly. Everyone says I must say yes, she whispered, but my heart is stubborn. Chike looked at his rough palms, and then at her face that he had memorized in the soft light of many evenings. What do you want? He asked. Ada took a long breath and said the truth. I want peace. I want someone who will sit with me when the light goes off and the generator refuses to start. I want laughter that is not acting. I want a home that does not depend on camera. I want you, Chike. He was silent for a long time. Then he said, the prince can give you the world. I don't want the whole world, she said. I want the right person. The prince was not a bad man. He had real charity projects, real power, real grace, but there was something about his eyes. They skimmed the surface, like a boat that refused to sink even a little, like he didn't want to meet the deep parts of people. When Ada finally spoke to him on the veranda of the community hall with elders gathered, she folded her hands and let the words come like clean water. Your Highness, thank you for what you did for our village. I respect you, but I cannot marry you. My heart has already chosen. Silence. A baby cried in the distance and was quickly hushed. The elders blinked as if dust entered their eyes. The women gasped and covered their mouths. The prince stood very still and smiled a thin smile like a slice of plantain not fully ripe. Is there another man? He asked gently. Ada didn't look away. Yes. Is he worthy? The prince asked, and although his tone was soft, the question felt like a challenge. He is not rich, Ada said, but his heart is steady. I trust him. The prince nodded once, as if ticking a boss. I accept your answer, he said. May your choice bring you joy. He left without anger, without shouting, without insult. The convoy drove away and the village breathed again, but the air changed. Some people called Ada brave, others called her a fool. How can you throw away palace life? Do you know what you just did? Even if you don't want the prince, pretend, secure contract, open shop. Mama Nkem didn't shout. She held Ada's face and said softly, my child, it is better to wear a simple shoe that fits than to carry a golden shoe that will wound your foot. But Wahala will come. Stand well. Wahala came the next morning like a storm. A popular Lagos blogger posted a spicy story. Village girl rejects prince because of secret rich boyfriend. The post showed photos of Chike standing beside a borrowed car he had fixed at the shop and a picture of him in Lagos last year at a spare parts market. They wrote, sources said the girl planned this with her secret boyfriend to get clout and gifts from the prince. Lies can move like fire in dry season. Venomous comments poured like rain. Some city girls swore they would have married the prince in 1 second, even half second. Someone dug up an old clip of Ada dancing at a cousin's wedding and twisted it like rope, saying she loved attention. Strangers insulted her mother. Sales dropped at the market because people feared the palace would be annoyed with anyone who greeted Ada. Even the village chief called her and said, you have put us inside hot soup. Chike faced a war storm. Two men in suits visited his shop. They didn't give their real names. They said in low voices, do you really think you can win this? Back down. Leave her. You are playing with people who own the field. Later, his shop was mysteriously sealed by local officers for noise nuisance. The generator that he fixed for the community stopped working because someone poured sand in it. People began to avoid him like he carried a curse. Hada refused to bend. She and Chike started visiting spare parts stores in Nsukka to offer free repairs so Chike could build goodwill. At night, they studied online business ideas using data bundles they could barely afford. They recorded short videos on a small phone about repairing simple home items and teaching people how to avoid being cheated by fake parts sellers. Ada's voice was clear and kind. Chike's hands were magic. Slowly, supportive comments appeared. Then orders for small repairs came from nearby towns, then from Enugu City. One evening, a man with a quiet cap and slow voice came to the shop. He brought a broken radio and watched Chike fix it with patience and precision. "How did you learn this?" the man asked. "From necessity," Chike said, smiling, "and from listening." The man left without introducing himself. 2 days later, a popular tech influencer in Lagos shared their video with the caption, "This couple is building something honest." Orders multiplied. Ada and Chike started a small brand called True Fix and printed the name on plain t-shirts with white paint. Meanwhile, the prince did not disappear. He continued to sponsor the school build and sent books to the village library. This confused people. If he was offended, he did not show it. One afternoon, Ada received a sealed envelope with palace insignia. Her hands shook as she read. The Queen Mother invited her to Lagos for a private meeting, not to press her to change her mind, but to discuss woman to woman. Everybody warned Ada not to go. Some said it was a trap, but she went because fear was not her style. She entered Lagos like a fish swimming into the widest river. The palace was grand but quiet, with guards who stood like trees. The Queen Mother wore a wrapper of deep blue and coral beads that looked like sunsets captured in stone. Her eyes were sharp and warm at the same time. She studied Ada with a gaze that measured hearts, not clothes. "You are brave," the Queen Mother said. "Bravery can be foolishness if it is empty, but I think yours is not empty." Ada bowed. "Ma'am, I only followed my heart." The Queen Mother nodded. "Do you know how heavy a crown is?" "No, ma. It crushes necks that think it is jewelry," the Queen Mother said softly. "I will not force you, but I must ask. Do you truly trust the man you choose?" "With my breath," Ada said without thinking. The Queen Mother sat back and a tiny sad smile touched her mouth. "You remind me of someone I knew before cameras existed," she said. "Let the village grow. Focus on your life. Leave the noise to itself." Then she did something surprising. She wrote a personal check, not to Ada, but to the primary school of Umuagu, and told Ada, "Deliver this quietly, no photos." On her way out, Ada passed someone in a simple shirt and baseball cap, carrying a stack of files. He looked like an office assistant. He paused and said, "Your videos are helpful." She blinked, surprised. "You watch them?" He smiled. "Sometimes the internet gives us small truths in the middle of plenty noise." She thanked him and left, never knowing who he was. Back in Umuagu, Trufix grew. They hired two village boys, Ike and Bolu, and taught them to repair radios and blenders. They fixed things for widows at half price, and people began to defend them online whenever a troll spat nonsense. But Wahala is stubborn. One morning, a video dropped from an unknown account showing Chike entering a hotel in Enugu at night and leaving in the morning looking tired. The caption screamed, "Faithful boyfriend or secret player." It looked bad. The internet cooked fresh insults. Ada's heart trembled like a bowl of water in a moving box. She asked Chike calmly, "Where did you go?" He said, "I went to meet a supplier who promised discounted parts. He said he could not meet during the day because of competition. I was foolish to go alone, but I went because our orders are plenty. He kept me waiting in the lobby, then never showed. My phone battery died. I slept in the chair." "Why didn't you tell me?" she asked, pain pressing her ribs. "Because I didn't want you to worry, and because I am ashamed. It looks like a lie," he said quietly. Ada stared into his eyes, searching for the deep parts. She remembered how he fixed the church speaker at midnight in the rain. She remembered his steady breath when the world mocked them. She chose trust. "Next time, even if you think I will worry, tell me," she said. "Yes," he breathed, like a man giving back his own name. Still, the smear hurt business. Their sales dipped. That was when the man with the quiet cap returned, this time with a clean van and a camera crew that did not shout. He introduced himself as Ayo, the founder of a growing Nigeria platform that helped small businesses sell across the country. I believe in what you are building, he said. I want to feature true fix, no charge, no drama. The video showed their real work, their free classes for teenagers, their habits of repairing rather than throwing away. It went viral in a gentle way, shared not for gossip but for hope. A big Lagos supermarket chain ordered 500 fix-at-home toolkits with simple guides written by Ada in plain English. Money finally entered the cool breeze after heat. They paid off old debts, improved the shop, and bought a small car that coughed but moved. Somewhere in the middle of this growth, an invitation card arrived, printed on thick white paper with silver letters. Royal Gala and Charity Ball, Lagos. Special awards for community heroes. The sender was the palace. Ada didn't want noise, but she also didn't want to hide as if she had done wrong. She accepted and asked Chike to come as her plus one. He said yes, but looked uncomfortable in a suit, tugging at the collar as if it tried to choke him. The night of the gala, Lagos lights glittered like stars that had come to gossip. Influencers floated in shimmery gowns. Politicians posed with faces that smiled but eyes that calculated. Musicians performed songs that made even serious people tap feet under the table. The prince moved through the room greeting donors. Cameras flashed whenever he stopped. When he reached Ada and Chike, he paused and bowed slightly. "Congratulations on True Fix," he said. "You built something strong." Chike nodded. "Thank you." The prince's gaze lingered on him a heartbeat longer than politeness needed. Then he smiled and moved on. The Queen Mother took the stage later, glowing like someone who knows storms and still chooses light. She spoke about charity, dignity, and the weight of leadership. She said a royal house is strong only when the ordinary homes in the kingdom are strong. People clapped carefully. Then came the shock that set Lagos tongues wagging for days and would make the internet forget its own name for a while. The master of ceremony announced, "Ladies and gentlemen, kindly rise for His Royal Majesty." The hall stood. The king entered quietly, older than the photos online but solid like an Iroko tree. He greeted the crowd and then said, "Tonight we will honor truth." He signaled to the side. The simple office assistant Ada had once passed in the palace walked onto the stage in a regular suit. He looked uncomfortable at first, then took the microphone. The room hummed with curiosity. The king said, "For years we hid my first son in plain sight, so he could learn the true heart of our people. We wanted him to choose with his own eyes, not with the palace's eyes. We called him by another name. He worked at the palace as if he was staff. He traveled the country with our charity team without title. I present to you the Crown Prince." The hall froze. Mouths hung open like windows in Amatan. Cameras forgot to flash. The office assistant the internet would later nickname "Prince in Plain Clothes" smiled a small smile, then looked across the hall and said in a voice that was steady and familiar, "Good evening." Ada felt the floor tilt. Her heart recognized the voice before her head accepted the truth. The man on stage was Chike, or rather, Chike was the man on stage. One heartbeat, two heartbeats, the room turned like a carousel. Someone dropped a wine glass. A murmur swelled like a wave and crashed into shouting, and then silence again. The Queen Mother's eyes were bright with some emotion that could drown or save. The king raised his hand, and the noise died like a candle snuffed. "We hid his identity because we wanted him to know. Power is service, not decoration. We wanted to see who would love him when he was ordinary," the king said. "Tonight he asked to speak, and I agreed." Chike, no, the crown prince, held the microphone and searched the crowd till he found Ada. "My real name is not just Chike," he said gently, "but I am still the same person you know. I came to Umuagu years ago as part of a quiet youth program our palace supports for tech and trades. I stayed because I found work that made sense. I never lied to hurt you. I only kept quiet because of a promise to my father and because of fear. Fear that the moment people knew who I was, they would change how they treated me. He took a breath. You chose me when I had nothing to offer but a steady heart. You refused the prince because your spirit knows the smell of truth. Tonight, if you still want the ordinary man you met under the orange tree, he is here. If you do not, I will accept, and I will honor you forever for teaching me what love is. The room was heat and cold together. The other prince, the one who asked for Ada's hand first, Prince Tunde, stepped forward, his face smooth but his eyes complicated. He bowed to the king and said, Your Majesty, with respect, this revelation will cause uproar. The public will say we played them. The king said, Let them talk. People always talk. Did we not give them water, schools, fairness where we could? This part of the story we kept because safety demanded it. Then the Queen Mother did something people would replay again and again in slow motion. She walked to Ada and took her hands. Up close, her eyes were brimming. When I was a young woman like you, she whispered into the microphone without shame. I loved the man before I loved the title. I found both, but not in the order the world expected. You did the same. If you want to run away now, I will personally drive you out of this hall, she added with a tiny smile that broke the tension. And I will sit with you in whatever small house you choose and eat gari with granite on the floor. You owe us nothing. Ada felt like she was standing at a road where one path led to quiet and the other led to thunder. She remembered how people mocked her when she refused the prince. She remembered how they also mocked Chike with the hotel video. She remembered the van with the simple cameras and the school children laughing at the borehole. None of that changed the one truth she had trusted from the beginning. Chike's heart was steady. An aide whispered in Prince Tunde's ear, but he lifted his hand, refusing the whisper like a man refusing the extra pepper. He walked to the microphone and said, I approached Ada first, not out of love, but because advisors said it would be good for the palace to be seen close to the people. She saw through me and refused me politely. For that, I respect her. I congratulate my brother. The honesty lit the hall like a generator, finally catching after many pulls. People were not prepared for truth tonight, but truth had come without makeup. Cameras started flashing again. The internet found new life. A wave of cheers rose like a Harmattan wind, turning into rain. But the night was not done with drama. A man in a dark suit, the same one who had once threatened Chike at the shop, rushed toward the stage with a face twisted by anger and fear. Security grabbed him fast, but not before he shouted, She cannot be queen! We have proof! His mouth snapped shut as if someone had pressed mute. The queen mother lifted her head like a lioness. Young man, she said, we do not crown anyone tonight, and you will save your proof for the police because blackmail ends here. The king signaled, and guards led the man away firmly. Later, people would learn he worked for a powerful fixer who built lies around famous people and sold them like granules at bus parks. He was the one who leaked the hotel video. He was also the one who planted the story that Ada had a secret rich boyfriend. His boss had bet big money that Ada would marry the prince to boost a brand deal. When she refused, they released poison for revenge. But at the gala, all Ada could see was the man she loved standing on a stage he had never asked for, offering his heart again. She walked to him, the all quieted like the world holding breath. I chose you when you were just a man with dusty shoes and kind eyes, she said, her voice shaking. If I choose you now, it will not be because of your crown. It will be because you are still that man. He blinked past as if holding back rain behind his eyes. I am, he said. Then I choose you again, she whispered. The hall exploded, not loud and ugly, but bright and glad. The way people sound when their hearts are tired of drama and finally see something simple win. Social media that night almost burned, this time with joy, with memes of Prince in plain clothes, with videos of Queen Mother laughing and hugging Ada, with threads about how village girls can change a whole narrative by standing in truth. Promoters begged for interviews, movie deals, advert contracts. Ada and Chike turned down many, accepted a few that matched their values, and used the money to open a bigger True Fix training center in Enugu for young people who wanted skills and a future. They did not move into the palace. They stayed in their modest house for a long time, even when gifts came that could buy 10 bigger houses. They married quietly, with small suya and big dancing, under an evening sky that remembered that first orange tree. At the end of the day, Ada still swept her compound, still cooked jollof with steady hand, still greeted elders with respect. She still asked why, and sometimes, when no one was watching, she still ran barefoot to chase the evening sun. People said the ending of their story was too shocking, too sweet, too much like a film, and maybe they were right. But the strongest part was never the shock, or the palace, or the cameras. It was a girl in a village who refused pressure, chose true love, and by doing that, uncovered a secret that turned the whole kingdom back towards truth. Long after the noise cooled and news stories took over the internet, old women at Umuagu's borehole still told the tale with joy. How our Ada said no to the wrong yes, and the yes she chose became a crown that fits not her head first, but her heart. And that, as the Queen Mother liked to say, is how you make a story that people will talk about, not only for days, but for the length of a human memory. Which is to say, for as long as love is still the most powerful throne in the world. The end. Please leave a comment, like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching.